see her once. I don't complain too much about like we should have had a snow day kind of thing. Like you guys all come in complaining. That was wicked today. Oh my goodness gracious, was that wicked. Did you guys, do I have any drivers in here? Was it your first time driving in the big, big snow?
Well,
the other day.
That was pretty bad too, but today was the worst.
Today was wicked. It was really bad. It takes me normally about 25 minutes to get to work, and it took me 40 today. That was a long. Okay, here's period 6 seating chart. Here's period 8 seating chart. All right. So, what is happening in Honors Algebra 2? So, we are hitting chapter 5, and we're going to do 5-1 today. We're going to do 5-2 on Tuesday. Now, Thursday, okay, the way Wednesday and Thursday are going to be a little unique because Thursday, second period, and most of third, you guys are going to have your career tech scheduling meeting for all sophomores. So you will miss all of second and a good chunk of third. Because Miss Burns has a class that is during that time period, and I wanted to stay with her. What we're going to do on Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, when you guys come in, I will teach section 5-2, day 2. And then Thursday for you guys will be a work day on your homework because she doesn't have her one class is missing all of Thursday. So then Thursday will be a work day. So that'll be kind of good. And then Friday, we do a review of 5-1 and 5-2. Your next assessment is not until the Thursday after the 4-day weekend. So it's like 3 weeks. Okay? Questions? All right. You guys ready to rock and roll? Somebody asked me what I think is the hardest 9 weeks, and I do think this is the hardest 9 weeks, not just material-wise, but like, I don't know, this 9 weeks gets me. It's gray, it's cold, I'm just ready for spring. So, keep working. One, two, three. I went through your course recommendations, what you guys want to take next year. If I have a disagreement and want to talk to you about what you signed up, even if it's in the other direction, there's 3 of you in here that signed up for regular, and I'm thinking it could be a CCP. So I'll talk to all of you that we need to talk to about your course recommendations. All right, so we're starting chapter 5, and chapter 5 is our rational functions chapter. What's a rational number? Any number that can be written as a fraction. Any number that's written as a fraction. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of fractions in this chapter, which I know you're all very excited. We did not do this in Algebra 1 because it's in our Algebra 1 book, but it's not in Algebra 1 standard. So it says that previously we've learned this, but you probably have not learned this, okay? And it says the nth root of a is equal to a to the 1 over n for any real number greater than 1. And then I think I left some space. Did I leave some space for you? Let me see. Yes, underneath that sentence, we're going to write a couple of these. Square root of 5. What's the invisible number right here if you have just a square root? That's a what? It's a 2, right? Square root. So we would write this as 5 to the 1/2. If you have the cube root of 6, okay, guys, that would be 6 to the what? 1/3. And if you have the 4th root of 7, how would we write that one? 7 to the what? 1/4. Okay, so can you guys go from radical form to rational exponent? It means your exponent's a fraction. Okay, now let's go the other way. What if I have 8 to the 1/5? How would you guys write that in radical form? It's the what root of what? Yeah, it's called the fifth root. That's how you say that's not 5 square root because square root's 2. It's the fifth root of 8. The fifth root of 8. What about 2 to the 1 sixth? Sixth root of 2. And then 3 to the 1 half. Okay, what about 3 to the 1 half? Now that's what? Square root of 3. You do not have to put the 2. That's called the index, the little number there. You do not have to put the 2 there.
You can though.
You can, but you'll never see it in print like that. All right, so let's go ahead then. We have this big chart, and we're just going to hammer through some of these. Okay. How would you guys write this as a rational exponent? Everybody. 5 to the what? Ooh, okay, I guess we haven't talked about that. So what's the index? 2. So that goes in the denominator. This number on the outside is the exponent. Okay, is the numerator. The exponent is the numerator. Does that make sense? So this is the 5 to the 3 halves. What would this one be? 4 to the what? Okay, it's 2/4, which I heard someone say that really reduces to what? 1/2. Again, the index. The index is the number that's here. That's the index. That becomes your denominator. The exponent becomes your numerator. Okay, what would this one be, everybody? 9 to the 2/3. How about this one, everybody? 10 to the 4/5. Finish the last 2. Okay, what's this one? 15 to the what? 3 halves. Remember, there's an invisible 2 on square root. And how about the 27? This would be 27 to the what? 4/3. Okay, so that's going radical form, exponent, rational exponent form. Are you guys good there? Now let's go the other way. What if I start with 8 to the 2/3? Well, what goes under the radical sign? 8. The denominator is your index. So what's your index? 3. Now you can either write it like that, or you can write it like this. Those are the same thing. We tend to write it this first way a little more. So what would this one be? The what root of what? What's your denominator? So it'd be the square root of 6 raised to the what? 5. (12 to the 3/4). That's the what root of what to the what? 4th root of 12 all to the 3rd. How about this one? 10 to the 3 halves. That's a what root of what to the what? Square root of 10 all to the 3rd. Finish the last 2. Bless you. Okay, so what's this first one? This is going to be the what root of what? Square root of 16 to the 3rd. And how about this one? 5th root of 20 all to the 6th. Okay, so first part of your homework tonight. Go from radical form to rational exponent. Go from rational exponent to radical. Just getting that practice of going back and forth. Are you guys good with these? Pretty basic. Again, you've never learned it before, but I feel once I've taught it to you, you should be pretty good. All right. Next one. Finding the nth root. You can extend the concept of square roots to other roots. For example, 2 is the cube root of 8 because 2 to the third is 8. Okay, so 2 is the cube root of 8. In general, for an integer n greater than 1, if b to the n is equal to a, then b is the nth root of a. And nth root is written as the nth root of a, where n is the index. So we've already talked about that a little bit. Our properties still hold true. Power of a power. Do you guys remember the power of a power rule? If you have a to the m raised to the n, power of a power, what do you do to the exponents? Multiply. Do you remember that? It's a to the m times n. So that still holds true. So if I have, now your base has to be a to the 1/2 raised to the second. You're going to multiply a half in 2. You get a to the first. Here, you're going to multiply 1/3 times 3. You get a to the first. Here, you multiply 1/4 times 4. You get a to the first. Okay? Key idea. If n is an even integer, so you're letting that be the nth root, okay? If it's even, the square root, the 4th root, the 6th root, think about this once. Remember, for example, what's the square root of 25? 5. But I could, if I told you x squared, if I told you x squared equals 25, and you take the square root, what would you guys tell me x could be? So how many roots could there be? 2. Okay, there could be 2. But that's not the case with cube root. If I do x to the third equals 8, how do you think we would undo x to the third? Take the what? Cube root. And what's the cube root of 8? Only 2. It's not -2, because -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. Okay? So if you're dealing with even roots, square roots, 4th roots, 6th roots, okay, if what's underneath your radical is a negative number, can you take the square root of -25? No, so there's no real roots. Can you take the square root of 0? Yeah, the square root of 0, the 4th root of 0, the 6th root of 0, there's only one solution, it's 0. Where we get 2 is if you're taking an even root of a positive number. Take the even root of both sides, you get plus or minus 5. Could be 2 real solutions. Odd, that's not the case, okay? Whether it is positive or negative, there's only one solution. The cube root of 3 equals -8, your answer is -2. There's only one. And same with 0. So cube anything odd to the 3rd root, to the 5th root, to the 7th root, we don't need to worry about the plus or minus. The only time we have to worry about there being 2 is if you are taking the square root, the 4th root, the 6th root of a positive number. And you have 2 solutions. So, next one. Find the indicated real nth roots of A. So here's what this is asking you to find. This is asking you to find all 4th roots of 81. What multiplies 4 times to give us 81? You guys will learn these. 3. What else multiplies together 4 times to give me 81? -3. You guys see that? Because -3 times -3 is 9, times -3 is -27, times -3 is positive 81. So I'm going to say my answers are plus or minus 3. Because there are 2 answers that multiply 4 times together to give me 81. Okay? How about this one? Find, this is what this is asking. Find all, well, what do we call it if there's 2? Would be what? Square roots of -49. Now, we're not talking about i's, so you're going to tell me there's what? No real root. There is no real root. You cannot take the square root of negative 49. What are they asking you to find here? Find all what? Third roots or cube roots, either way, cube or third roots of negative 125. That means what multiplies 3 times to give me negative 125? What's the only answer? Negative 5. Because negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. 25 times negative 5 is negative 125. Okay, how about this one? Find all fifth roots of 243. All right, you might not know this. First of all, how many are there? Since it's an odd root, there's only 1. Okay, so you can think of this as, what's the fifth root of 243? If you don't know that, here's the way you find the fifth root. Okay, no, I gotta find it. Oh, I think, okay, we're gonna put the 5 in first. Then go to math. And you go down to this one that says x root. Do you see that? Of 243. Now, mine looks like this. Your newer calculators, those of you with the new ones, it says the fifth root of 243. Did you guys find it? Oh, I just realized I did that. You too. I didn't even realize. I told you I just put it in the computer. You're sitting by each other. Okay. Okay. 3. Did you guys get 3? All right. Questions. Are you guys cool with this one? Everybody good? That's next part of your homework. All right, next part. A rational exponent does not have to be the form 1 over n. We've already talked about it. We already did all this, okay? We already said 3 to the 2/5 is the what? Fifth root of 3 to the what? Second. And we already did it this way. We said if I have the cube root of 8 squared, that's 8 to the what? 2/3. So I already did that on the first sheet. So now we're going to hit this one. This, when it says evaluate, there's going to be 2 parts to our quiz. No calculators of any kind. Okay, I am not punching your ability they're testing your ability to go 16 raised to the 3/2. I'm not doing that. Okay, so you've got to know how to think about this. What is 16 to the 3/2 as a radical? Square root of 16 to the 3rd. Do you guys agree with Josh? Okay, well, what is the square root of 16? 4. And what is 4 to the 3rd power? 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is... You can see how we did that without a calculator. You can check yourself with your calculator, but this will be a no calculator part of our quiz. How would I turn... How would I turn this one into a radical? The what? Cube root of 64 all to the 4th power. What's a cube root of 60? What multiplies 3 times to give me 64? 4. And then what is 4 to the 4th power? You guys know? It's 256. I'll give you nice numbers, don't worry. All right, let's try. Ooh, this goes to our other rule. These are all of these exponent rules. What's a to the negative n? What do you do if you have a negative exponent? Where does it go? In the what? Denominator. So for example, if I have 4 to the negative second, that would be 1 over what? 4 to the second, which would be 1 over 16. All right, so what do I do here? When you have a negative exponent, take care of it first. You cannot have a negative exponent, so where does this go? Denominator. So I have 1 over 32 to the 3/5. Now, how do I write 32 to the 3/5 as using radicals? It's the what? 5th root of 32 all to the, you'll learn the 5th root of 32. Does anybody know it? 2. Yeah, what's 2 times 2? 4 times 2. 8 times 2. 16 times 2. 32. So that's just 2. And what's 2 to the 3rd? 8. So my answer is 1/8. Again, no calculators. Let's see if you guys can do this one. All right. What do I do to this one? It's so quiet today. McKenna. Where's this going to go? To the denominator, you get 1 over
16.
Good. Now make it a radical. How do you make it a radical?
4 to the square root of 16.
Okay, 4th root of 16 all to the 5th. Okay, what's the 4th root of 16? What multiplies 4 times to give you 16? 2. So this is just 1 over 2 to the 5th. And what's 2 to the 5th? 32. Like I said, as we work with these, you guys will learn them quicker. Good job. How'd you guys do there? Okay, grab your calculators if you don't have them out already. Evaluate using technology. All right, ready? 9. How do I do exponent? Oh, you can do math, or I just use the caret. And now, those of you with the newer calculators, it puts it up there. And then I'm going to do 1/5. I have to have parentheses around mine because I have the old school calculator. Those of you who have the newer ones, it makes it a fraction. You don't have to have a parentheses. And what'd you guys get for 9 to the 1/5? To 2 decimal places. We got what? 1.5. Anybody not getting 1.55 so I can help you? All right. You guys try B and C. What's wrong? You didn't get it?
Not good.
Oh, okay. What'd you guys get for 12 to the 3/8? Everybody. 2.54 when you round correctly to 2 decimal places. Now, you can put this in using the radical if you want, but I think that's more difficult. I change it to rational exponent. This is 7 to the what? 3/4. 3. And remember that index, the little number in the index becomes your denominator. So now I'm just going to go to my calculator and do 7 raised to the 3/4. And what'd you guys get? Did you get 4.30? Is anybody not getting these? So I can help you if you're not getting them. All right, last ones. Back to before, when I had x squared equals 100, how do you undo x squared? You take the what? Square root. Okay, right? Square root both sides. Don't forget, if you have an even index, you have to remember to put a what? Plus or minus. Okay, well, that's what we're going to do here. Okay, you can think of, you raise it to 1 over the power, or you raise it to the other, let's just do it. Ready? Isolate the x to the 5th. You have to isolate x to the 5th first. It's not isolated. What are you guys going to do? Divide by what? 4. Now, notice it says round to 2 decimal places. If it says round, that implies you're allowed to use your what? Calculator. Okay, what's 128 divided by 4? So I get x to the 5th equals... Do I need to worry about a plus or minus when I have x to the 5th? No. Okay. How do you undo x to the 5th? Take the what? 5th root of both sides. And what's the 5th root of 32?
2.
Okay. Or another way to do this, if you wanted to, you could raise each side to the 1/5. Because what's power of power? You multiply. What's 5 times the 5th? 1. And then that is where you either use your calculator or think of it as the 5th root of 32, which is 2. You guys are going to start writing it like that and seeing it like 5th root of 32. Okay? Can I move the 3 yet? Because it's being raised to the 4th. How do you undo being raised to the 4th power? Take the what? 4th root of this and the 4th root of that. Now, when I do, on the left side, what happens to the 4th root and the power of 4? They're gone. So you get x minus 3. What do I have to make sure I put out front here? Plus or minus. And since it says round, you can either use your calculator now or later. It doesn't matter. I don't know. What's the 4th root of 21? Now what would you guys do? How do you get x by itself now? Add 3. And when you guys add 3, you get x equals 3 plus or minus the 4th root of 21. So you have 3 plus the 4th root of 21 or 3 minus the 4th root of 21. Remember, you have 2 answers because it's an even index. 3 plus, my calculator, I have to put the 4 first, go to math. Here. Of 21. Oops. What'd you guys get for the plus? 5.14? Is that what everybody got? Okay, do the minus. Three minus. I gotta put my number in first. 4. 4th root 21. And what'd you guys get for minus? Did you get 0.86? Questions? All right, before we start our homework, which is here, okay? Before you start your homework, you may now clean out your binders. I would encourage you to find and keep, what color was that paper that I gave you? You are not as organized as I expected you to be, child. I think it's blue. Yeah. This one. I would encourage you to keep that. Okay, so find that. If you don't want any of it, some of you will take this stuff home and I don't know why, but you will. Okay? Clean out your binders, get everything else in the trash. You don't need any. If you want my sheet from the beginning of the year, this sheet is also blue. You can put that in there. So there's 2 blue sheets. That's about the only thing. And today's notes. Today's notes.